and welcome to the January reading vlog. Yes, the elephant in the room, my Christmas tree is still up. It is almost February, and yes, I have not taken any of my Christmas decorations down. I wanted to have a little bit of joy in January and keep up the good vibes, so I left it up, and that's okay. But just to let you know, the Christmas tree and other Christmas decorations will in fact be in this vlog. I do not apologize. But I am very, very excited about this week. There are a lot of incredible books that I'm planning on reading this week for some incredible reasons. And I just can't wait to get into it this week. We read 5 books. I think that's like a 500% increase from December, so that's great. I learned how to get back into reading for some really, really incredible authors. We found some new authors, some new books. I got into poetry. It is an exciting month in my life, and I can't wait to share it with you and share all the good vibes and good books. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let's just get into it. So yes, I am wearing a massive sweater with a massive poncho thing, with 3 blankets on me, and Milo is also snuggling with me, because I literally cannot get warm. It has been some type of negative degree for I think a full week now. I was shocked to see it hit 5 degrees at noon today, so yeah, it's been really cold. I also have not yet really done a lot of reading so far this January, but I just wanted to hop on because I had my birthday like 2 weeks ago, January 7th. So I'm 24. Yay! I think birthdays are really interesting because you can always just like see how far you've come from like your past selves, so to speak. And sometimes they can be very sad for those reasons as well. I feel like the last few birthdays I've had have been very sad birthdays, but they've gotten better, which is good. It's been good. My years are getting better. I am growing as a person. I definitely feel a lot happier and just more understanding of like who I am and myself at 24 now. Obviously I know that is very likely to change the more and more, you know, life I live, but it feels nice to be okay, you know, to just like look back on the year and say, you know, it was kind of a messed up year, but you know, it's gonna get better because I got better, so it feels nice. To celebrate, we did a big D&D weekend. So on Saturday, Mac ended his like huge campaign that he had, and I was playing a barbarian because I love them. They're so fun to play, and it was really cool to actually finish a really long campaign and say goodbye to our characters and kind of give them the like epilogue and lives that they all deserved. It was really, really cool. And then on Sunday, which was my actual birthday, I DM'd. So I have a big giant campaign happening that's been going on for almost a year now, which is wild. And we had a big final battle for the second arc of my campaign. So it was really fun. It was really cool to see like everyone do their things, and I spent my birthday doing what I absolutely loved the most, which is storytelling, telling stories with my friends. I absolutely adore it. Milo doesn't because he gets ignored. But it was just such a fun time and a great way to like turn 24. That's so exciting. But I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening actually reading a book. Yay me, let's go. I have quite a few books that I really want to read in the next upcoming days, but I think I really want to read a romance. I want to go cozy romance. So I'm gonna start reading The Fall of Whit Rivera, which has been on my list since the beginning of January for the Diverse Baseline Challenge, which is a really cool challenge. I'll probably talk about it more as this video goes on, but yeah, I'm gonna start with that book tonight and get cozy and get as warm as I possibly can. Yeah, Milo? Oh my goodness. So, I might have, maybe, stayed up till 2 or 3 finishing this. Should I have done that? Absolutely not, but I couldn't set this book down. Oh, it was so good and it was so sweet, and oh my goodness, let's get into it. First of all, I am so glad I am back in my romance era because I think I missed it a lot, and I think I needed just some cute, fun, innocent romance. Sometimes you don't need spice, you just need some fun times and some really cute, innocent things, and I loved this book. If you are missing warmth and you are missing like the cozy times of fall, this book is for you. And I honestly think it's perfect for any time of year, especially if you are missing the fall season. You can pick this up and immediately be transported there, which is just so amazing. But I think one of my biggest things that I loved about this book was the romance was adorable and I absolutely adored it, but the found family between friends, the close-knit relationship between sisters, which I am always a sucker for because I am the oldest of multiple sisters, and so, you know, oldest daughter syndrome is real, and I felt really connected to this oldest daughter 100%. I just loved that aspect of it. I loved the talk and the reality of chronic illness and how that affects you in your life and your relationships, and how it can't just go away. As someone with chronic pain, I found a lot of things that were very similar in this book to me, and it just was just like, yeah, you know, sometimes you have a bad day and you can't do all the things that you want to do. Your body's not going to let you, and that's hard. And especially as like a high schooler, it's hard not to be able to do all the things that you want to do, and you want to go. And then the main character of this book, like, she and me are two peas in a pod. Like, we want to do all the things. We're a little bit type A in a lot of ways, and sometimes your body's just not gonna let you do that. And I just really loved like the realistic interpretation of that, the realistic showing of that in this book, while it also being one of the sweetest and cutest romances I have read in a really, really long time. And just, if a book's gonna make me stay up till 3 a.m., it's a good book. I'm just gonna let you know that. And I highly, highly recommend reading The Fall of Whit Rivera because it's so good and so sweet, and I just loved her friends and her family and everything, and it was just, I could talk about it all day. It's so good. But I will be giving a more in-depth review of all the books that I read here and of all the books that I read in January next week, and in particular, a lot of the books that I read for the Diverse Baseline Challenge, which this was one of them, and I'm so glad that it was. If you don't know, the Diverse Baseline Challenge is a way to basically combat what happened at last year's Goodreads Choice Awards, and if you don't know all the specifics, I will list all of the specifics down in my bio. But either way, I have read another book for the Diverse Baseline Challenge, and that is Soft Science, which I am very, very excited to chat about in next week's video. And I am also going to read, not in this vlog, but very, very soon, The Wind Knows My Name, which is a historical fiction, which I'm very, very excited about. And I love it, I love it, I love it, and I am so excited that this challenge basically got me to find this author, and I can't wait to read all the rest of her books because a lot of my Bookstagram mutuals have been chatting about all of her books recently, and she's just such a good writer and author, and if you want just a really fun romance, again, highly recommend reading this book. But yeah, either way, I am really excited because today I am going to be going to a hockey game. Yay! If you don't know, I love hockey. I love watching hockey. It is so much fun. I am not a hockey romance girl. I just enjoy watching the sport itself. I think it's amazing, and it's one of the, I think, most fun sports to watch live. And we, support the Blackhawks here in Chicago. That is our hockey team here. We absolutely love going to their games, and we are going tonight with a bunch of friends, and I think it's going to be so fun. They haven't been doing great this year, but I think it's still going to be a great time, and we're introducing some of our new friends to hockey, which is going to be so fun. And yeah, so I'm going to get ready for that later tonight, and we're going to go to the game together. So today's January 23rd, Tuesday, and it is the third day of a global strike for Gaza. And this strike is in order to finally call for a ceasefire, to make a ceasefire happen, or at least make it aware that the majority of people want a ceasefire to happen, and it should. And so this week, in kind of support of that, I am only going to be reading from Palestinian authors, and I'm going to only be reading Palestinian stories, and I'm very excited. I have a really incredible list of books, and I've already read one of them. Yesterday I read Minor Detail. Let's see if it'll load. Amazing. And I read it through the audiobook, which I highly recommend doing because it was, I think, almost more impactful to hear the words spoken to me, at least in my opinion. But either way, I highly recommend reading this book. It is a very short book. There's only 5 chapters, and it took me about like 2 hours to read the entire thing, but oh my word, when I tell you the impact that this made and how my understanding grew like tenfold after reading this book about what it is like to live in Palestine. The premise of the book is a young Palestinian woman is searching for the answers to an article that she read that is about another young woman who suffered horrendously under the Nakba, which is a horrific time in Palestinian history. So she finds this article, she's trying to find information about this woman, and the thing that really makes her kind of go on this quest that she goes on throughout the book is the fact that the woman's death and her birth are on the same day. And so that minor detail, which is the name of the book, causes her to go on this quest out of her comfort zone, over borders, through military checkpoints, to really try and search for information about this woman and her story. The book does an absolutely excellent job in showing what it is like to live in Palestine, the constant fear of overstepping, of making the wrong move with people that really treat you as a second-class human. And it explains the shifting of towns that she grew up knowing into desolate areas or open parks where villages like once stood. And so this transition of what has been happening under this occupation and what has been happening to the land that is being stolen from them. It's incredibly beautifully written. I was crying by the end of it. It is heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, but it does an excellent job explaining just how cyclical this violence has become for years. And now is an excellent time to finally end that. So again, I'm posting this during the strike, hopefully, but there'll be loads of resources down below to help in any way, shape, or form that you can. You know, just doing one thing is beneficial, right? Just one task. Either way, I highly recommend reading Minor Detail because it was just so incredible, and again, highly recommend the audiobook version of it because wow. Oh, that being said, today I'm really excited. I have 2 other books that I'm going to be reading, and the first of those is Rifqa. This is a poetry collection specifically about Palestinian resistance. It was released in 2021, and I am very, very excited. I've heard wonderful things about this poetry collection, and I just can't wait to dive into it. But the second book that I'm going to be reading is actually not quite out yet. I got an ARC. Yay! So very, very excited for that. But this book comes out March 12th, and I will let you know if you should pre-order it. I already think you should because I am very excited, and this poet has proved herself again and again just how incredible she is. But that book is The Moon That Turns You Back, and just so excited. This poetry collection specifically talks about displacement and how the memories of families have been affected throughout this occupation, and how memories shift and change over time, or even how memories, you know, keep the hope in a way. So I'm very, very excited to read both of these poetry collections. I think it's gonna be a really intense but wonderful day, and I don't know, I immediately started to get back into reading. I think especially after yesterday, reading that book, which 100%, if I was really rating books, would be 5 stars, because I think it's one of the best books I've ever read. So I am like amped and pumped because I now have like this expectation that all of these books are just gonna be absolutely incredible. So yeah, either way, let's start reading Rifqa, and I will get back to you when I finish that, and then we'll jump to the next one. Just finished Rifqa, and this was phenomenal. It was extremely well written. I am still new to poetry as a whole when it comes to reading for like enjoyment, I guess I would say, but this was just absolutely phenomenal, and there are so many highlighted lines that I have that I just want to write down and share, and I cannot wait to tell everyone about this book because oh my word. This was just one of the, again, such an incredible, poignant, powerful read. I feel like Rifqa in particular perfectly captured the emotions and anger and frustration and just overwhelming feelings of so many different things, of dread, but still feeling hopeful, and it just, wow. I adored the foreword and the afterword and what was said. Both were just almost like mini essays in their own right, and both were just so incredibly written and incredibly done. I highly recommend taking the time to read this, or at least just reading some poems by Muhammad El-Kurd, because wow, just an incredible talent. I'm still like reeling, but I really want to start the next book too, so I don't, there's lots of emotions in my head right now it's hard to fully explain. But I am gonna go ahead and start The Moon That Turns You Back, because it is an arc. I want to read it as soon as possible, but also I am extremely excited, and I'm so grateful that I was able to get this. And share it with you before it comes out. But yeah, let's get to reading. Alright, so it is the next day, and last night I officially finished The Moon That Turns You Back, and wow, it was so incredible. Again, I'm absolutely blown away. It perfectly captured, I think, the confusion of memory when you are displaced, and particularly when you are moving from like place to place to place, and your ancestry is moving from place to place to place, and how that distorts how you view the world, how you view your own life and your own memory. And it was just so amazing. The creativity with some of these poems was so cool to see, and I've never seen anything in a poetry collection like that before. It was just so good. My thoughts are a little jumbled right now because it is a little early in the morning, but I highly recommend pre-ordering this book because it's amazing. It's, I wouldn't say like a fast read, it's only 100 pages because it's a poetry collection, but it was just, it blew me away. I absolutely adored it, and I am very grateful that I got an ARC. Obviously all these opinions are my own. I wasn't like paid to do this, but yeah, absolutely incredible. Highly recommend, especially if you are wanting to get into Palestinian literature. This is a really great place to start, and it supports a wonderful poet that I think frankly deserves it because this was just so good. But that being said, today's book, which I am very excited about because I feel like I started this vlog with like a fun high school YA romance, and I'm going to end the vlog with a fun, funky high school romance, and that is going to be Something More. This book I've heard so many incredible things about. Basically, it is a book about a 15-year-old Canadian Palestinian girl, teenager, who is experiencing her first year at high school, and she wants to experience love for the first time. And she's also dealing with the fact that she just found out that she is autistic. She just got a diagnosis, and as someone who was a late diagnosed neurodivergent girly myself, I was very interested in this. And I do, while I am not autistic, I do believe that there's a lot of overlap when it comes to autistic women and women that have inactive ADHD. There's just overlap with some of our experiences in that case. And so I'm really excited to dive in and have like a high school book about the neurodivergent girl experience and what that's like. So really excited about this one. I'm excited to dive in, listen to the audiobook. I'm going to kind of clean up a little bit. My house is a little cluttered and I want to kind of get ahead of it before the weekend. So yeah, I am really excited, and let's get reading. I finished it. I literally put it on 3 times speed because I couldn't get it in my head fast enough. This book was so good. Oh my word. Sorry, I'm like kicking my feet. I'm so happy for the ending of this book. It was so cute and so adorable. But let's chat. So, right off the bat, I have never related to a character in high school more than this book. I was just, again, I'm recently diagnosed neurodivergent, and so I haven't read a lot of books that have female characters that experience similar things that I do. But reading this book, I was like, that was me. Like, that was me in high school. Like, 100%. Those thoughts, 100% me. There was this, slight differences, obviously, being autistic and having ADHD. There are loads of different experiences, but some of the thoughts, I was like, I get that. I understand. Like, that 100% was me in high school, and I felt seen in a way that I haven't felt in a really long time with a book, which is just amazing. I highly, highly recommend, if you are neurodivergent in any way, shape, or form, especially if you are a neurodivergent girly such as myself, read this book. It is so good, and it captures so many feelings and emotions that I didn't think could even be captured on a page. Like, oh my word. And the drama that high school brings up, and the drama that's almost it's so real right in the moment. Like, it's so vivid and real, but it's not I don't know, you know what I'm saying about high school drama, where when you're in it, you're like, this is the most important thing that could ever happen to me in my life. And then outside of it, there are real things happening, and she gets reminded of that in a very real way in the book. And I was just like, yes, that's high school. You are so consumed by thoughts that your friends are having, and thoughts that you're having about the people that you like, and thoughts that you're having about how teachers interact with you. And it just, I don't know, everything about this book perfectly captured the high school experience in a way that I have never read before in my life. And it was just such a perfect way to end this vlog off. We started with reading the Fall of Whit Rivera, which was the senior high school experience, and then you have this freshman experience that was just so perfect in so many ways, of just the growth that you have. It's just, oh my goodness, it's so good. I highly recommend this book, and I recommend the audiobook 100%. And this has been an audiobook week for me. I've really enjoyed audiobooks. I feel like I can do so much when I have an audiobook on, and it helps me focus more and helps me read more, which is obviously one of the biggest passions of my life. So if you have not jumped on the audiobook train, I highly, highly recommend it, because you are missing out, especially if you have ADHD. I'm telling you, audiobooks work. You gotta amp up the speed so your brain can follow along. Oh my goodness, it's so great. I highly recommend checking out books from the library, audiobooks from the library. That's where I get most of mine, and it's great, and it helps me just read so much more. And I'm just so happy, because last year that was such a hard thing, and the beginning of this month, it was so hard to find the motivation to read, and all of a sudden I read 6 books in 2 weeks, which is just awesome, and I'm just so excited about it. I feel like I'm finally getting back in my groove of reading, and it just makes me so happy. And I feel like audiobooks have been a really huge factor in that, because they get me motivated and they help me stay focused, and it's just great. I highly recommend, if you are having a hard time focusing on reading, checking out an audiobook, because literally they have helped me so much. They've helped my brain so much when it comes to reading and falling in love with reading again, and it's just been awesome. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of today's vlog. Thank you so much if you have watched this far in the video. I post every Friday, so if you want to subscribe and watch, you know, crazy reading ramblings and talk about books and all the fun things, feel free to give me a follow. Please check out all the links in my bio for helping Gaza and Palestine and continue helping them even after the strike ends. It's so important that we keep up the momentum. Make sure you check out the diverse baseline reading challenge information in my bio because it's great and I've really enjoyed the book so far. And next week I am going to be talking about all the books that I read. So I didn't talk about every book that I read in this video. I read so much more and I'm gonna continue reading obviously in the next few days. So I think there'll be like maybe 8 or 10 books that we're gonna chat in depth next week, and I'm very excited about it. But yeah, anyways, thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.